Hi, I'm Rob, and in this Gems of War video, I'm going to take a look in the Soulforge and tell you what I think is worth crafting from there this week. Also, we'll be taking a look at this weekly event troop, the Sea Hag. Anyway, I bought some shoes from a drug dealer. I don't know what he laced them with, but I was tripping all day. Alrighty then. Right, what have we got here? Sea Hag. Available from the Glory Shop. She's got a big nose and green skin and wonky hair. Never mind. She drains mana from all enemy, then converts all blue gems into cursed gems, which are brown. So consider that as converting blue to brown at the same time with the added effect of curse. So a useful spell in certain situations. Reduce damage from spells by 25% is pretty good. Half enemy gem mastery is by Jinx. It's actually underrated. I actually really like Jinx. Yeah, not bad. All enemies lose 2 random skill points. Not too bad. Not too great. Big nose, green skin, wonky hair gets 6 out of 10. Do like the troops that actually convert gems to other colours, because you can clearly see whether that's going to work before you cast it or not into like a 4 match or something. You're not actually winging it and hoping for the best. So pretty cool. Right, let's dive into the Soulforge then, see what we got. Start with the weapons. Not going to go over all the weapons that are here all the time, like Shattered Blade, Broken Guard there in my Soulforge extra video. I'll put a link in the description below. Alright, let's start with Dark Sword. Does magic based damage to the first enemy, deal triple damage if they use yellow mana. So good if you're a newer player and you pick this up against a yellow team, but otherwise pretty collectible. Blood Drinker. Does magic based damage to an enemy and steals half their attack. Good against a high level attack team, for example. Otherwise, better weapons available, nothing spectacular there. Idol of Darkstone. Remove all purple gems with no effect. Does magic based damage to an enemy boosted by gems removed. If the enemy is from Darkstone or the battle is in Darkstone, deal double damage. These are the sort of things I call the anti, in this case, Darkstone weapons. Purple is the colour Darkstone troops like the best. It's one of the magic kingdoms. And basically you take that colour away and normally you're going to be restricting what the enemy can do in a pretty big way. So good in certain situations. A Thame of Shadows, Affame of Shadows, however you want to pronounce it. Different territories say this word differently. It's a witchcraft ceremonial thing. But yeah, Affame, a Thame, up to you. Different territories say things different ways. Neither are wrong, neither are right. It's just how certain people say things. Anyway, does damage to an enemy. If the enemy's attack is higher, there's a 20% chance to kill them. Seamus only got that 20% chance to kill them if the enemy's attack is higher. Otherwise, that could have been worth a punt here and there. But yeah, I'm not really a fan of these percentage chance to kill as one of its main things about the weapon, because otherwise that weapon damage is actually quite low and the enemy's attack has to be higher. So yeah. Doomed Ring. Another not particularly great weapon. Give 2 magic to all allies, +1 per tempering level. So even on a fully tempered Doomed Ring, this is only going to be 12 magic to all allies. And remember, it won't affect all allies, because some spells, some troops, their spell isn't really based on magic, so it won't affect them ones. And then gives magic +2 armor to purple allies. Again, restricted by purple using allies only. And if the enemy has a doom, gain 10 attack. Yeah, lots of things have to be right. The stars have to fully align for that to work properly. Could be okay in certain situations, but nah, not for me. Not for me. Better options available. Doomed Runestones. Give magic +1 life to all allies, including the caster, which is pretty good. +2 per tempering level, so tempered up, that will be a decent amount. Give 5 mana to all other allies. If the enemy has a doom, give 4 more mana and give 2 magic to all allies for each brown enemy. Again, a lot has to be going on to get all the benefits from that. You have to be fighting against an all brown team to get that. Give 2 magic to all allies to the full extent. Gives mana to all other allies. The enemy has to have a doom to... yeah. A lot going on. Don't use that weapon myself. Chalice of Eyes. Cleanse and give magic +1 life to all allies. Summon an all-seeing eye troop. Pretty useful weapon this. The Cleanse is useful against certain teams. Life is obviously very good. Summon is always handy, and it has enchanting as well, which is enchantment. So when you cast this, it becomes enchanted and starts gaining mana ready to cast again absolutely straight away. So very, very good weapon. Chalice of Eyes, like it a lot. Screaming Tome. You can tell it's screaming. It's got a face thing on the front. That looks like one of those the coffee things. Have you seen people with the sort of creamy coffees that when you looks a bit like a face and they sort of blow in it a bit and it goes whoa? Looks like it's doing a screamy thing. I want that to make that noise. Anyway, it does magic-based damage to an enemy boosted by Darkstone allies, then creates a mix of 6 blue and purple gems for each Darkstone ally. So uses green and yellow, creates a blue and purple. So you do have to make sure at least a couple of those Darkstone allies do use blue and purple to make the most of all that mana generation. Otherwise that thing would be screaming its face off for nothing and it'll be feeling a bit like silly. Maybe. Right, any more for any more? Whatever that is. No, there's not. That is it. Right, onto the troops. No one particularly special in these Summoning Stones ones, but if you're a newer player, certainly have a look through, see if there's anybody that you fancy who you're missing. Same as the weapons, not going to go with all the troops that are here all the time, like Zulface and Enraged Kurandara there in the Soulforge extra video. A link to that will be in the description below. Morthani's Darkness. Steals magic-based life from 4 random enemies and summon Morthani's Will. Pretty good spell that. When you steal life, you take it from the enemy, add it to your own. So 38 life for me. What's that? 152 damage to the other team. But that, remember, that comes to you. So that's like a over 300 point life swing from one to the next. So very effective spell. I do like that. Obviously does get more powerful as your magic goes up though in the game. So look at Piscea. Another really good troop. One of my favourite star sign ones. Destroy all green gems, then create blue gems equal to the number of green destroyed. There are 2 independent 30% chances to devour a random enemy. 30% chance is basically 1 in 3, and there are 2 chances to do that. So pretty high chance that you're going to get one of them devours and then just become a lot more of a bigger fish than it is already. And the cool thing about it is destroys green gems and creates blue. It uses blue, so it has a chance to self-charge and do it all over again. Reduce damage from skulls by 30% is really cool, as is give 4 attack to all blue allies when matching blue gems. So yeah, I like that fish. It's good. Who else we got? Amarok. Wow, we've got some good mythics here today. Does damage to an enemy, then there's a 10% chance to devour them, boosted by red gems and burning enemies. If the enemy dies, create 9 red gems. Now, similar to a Piscea, this thing does damage first, but then there's that 10% chance to devour them, boosted by red gems. And it doesn't take that many red gems on the board for that to work sometimes, and it can be really effective. And the fact is, if they kill someone, it creates 9 red gems, can charge itself up and do it again. So again, another really effective mythic here. Reduce damage from skulls by 50% is good. Burn and stun a random enemy when matching 4 or more gems is useful in certain teams, like particularly the stun. Maybe the burn, depending upon what's going on in the rest of your team. Aquaticus, really cool. Also going to be an interesting decision, trying to think of who's the best mythic out of this lot for my mythic of the week. Does a decent amount of light splash damage to 3 random enemies. It is only light splash damage though, so it's only a quarter of the damage to the troops either side. Then explode half the blue gems on the board, so it can self-charge. Doesn't normally self-charge completely, but does get a lot of mana back at the same time. But one of the best things about her is that 3rd trait, summon all allies when matching 4 or more gems. Really, really good 3rd trait that. When you're up against, you know, if you're playing Guild Wars or even PvP, and you're up against one of those Queen Beatrix, King Gobtruffle teams, one of those ones that's, you know, got a chance to get a lot of damage to all enemies on your side, repeat, and just like loop you to death. She is so useful for that. All you have to do is get a 4-match, submerge all allies, and you are safe from those type of teams. So fantastic defense against that. And okay damage, but the light splash damage kind of does let her down ever so slightly. Right, it was at 4, I think it was. 1, 2, Piscea, and yep. So let's take a look at the Legendaries now. We got Pyrothemus down here at the bottom in a random place. Does damage to an enemy boosted by burning gems, burning allies and burning enemies. So if there's fire going on, it makes him angry and he gets more excited by that and does a bit more damage. But other than that, he's nothing too fantastic. Willow. Used to use this troop quite a lot in the early days. Destroys a row, gaining mana for the team, then does damage to all enemies boosted by brown gems destroyed. So not too bad, and you get those brown gems and they are matched with full effect, so it can start to self-charge. Immune to Entangle is pretty good against teams that start with Root Trap, things like that. You can have this up top and it'll be safe from that Root Trap and that Entanglement, things like that. Reduce damage from skulls by 33%, also makes it a bit more tanky in first place. So yeah, not bad for a little legendary, as is Glitterclaw, another troop I used to use quite a lot and still really useful today. Does damage to a random enemy, transforms all blue to green to boost the effect, it uses green itself, and then Fairy Fires all enemies. Fairy Fire is really cool. When you Fairy Fire enemies, they take 50% damage from incoming spells, so it's a really good way to boost up the damage of other members of your team. And gains enchant when matching red is the best one of the traits, so it can match red. If you got a red using mana troop on your team, you collect red for that. This dude gets enchant and gets ready to do its thing. Pretty cool. Spring Imp. Does scatter damage. Looks like a low amount of scatter damage, but scatter damage has got its own strengths. Entangles all enemies. That's really cool. And if an enemy dies, gain 8 magic. But the best thing about it, that third trait, gain 8 magic on green gem matches. In a green loopy doopy team, this gets magic boosted up and that scatter damage goes through the roof and you can do a hideous amount of damage. So yeah, very good. Nice set of troops in here today. That's actually pretty cool. Right, so who gets my super coveted, not Mythic of the Week? Well, this is a tough one. It really is, because Piscea is great. Morthani's Darkness is really good. Borderline great. Amarok is great. Aquaticus is great against certain teams. They've all got their strengths. In any different situation, any one of these mythics could be my Mythic of the Week. Depending upon your situation, if you are fighting Gobtruffle teams, Beatrix teams, then Aquaticus is by a mile the best troop here today. All depends upon the situation. That submerge all allies when matching 4 or more gems is the game changer for that. Amarok in the right team can absolutely just devour one after the other. Piscea, if you get lucky, can just devour again. And the really cool thing about it is this sort of thing is equally effective if you're a level 1 player against a level 3000 player. If you're a new player, it doesn't matter about your stats. You could have just started the game, opened up a glory chest, got lucky with this, go up into PvP and get this charged, and you could beat a 3000 level player as a level 1 player. It is theoretically possible because it doesn't care about their stats. And as soon as you get that devour, or they both come in, for example, then your stats are going to be absolutely sky high and you'll just end up finishing off the team usually with ease. So it is possible. Oh, I do like Piscea. This is a tricky one, but the way I'm going to judge this is, imagine like this is a really important thing, but it's not. But it's just want to do it. Who do I pick? Right, if these were the 4 mythics about to disappear from the game, say for example Gems of War took a funny twist and I said this month these 4 mythics, Morthani's Darkness, Piscea, Amarok and Aquaticus are all about to leave the game, and you can only save 1, who would I pick? And that's the thing, you see. Overall, I would say Amarok and definitely Piscea overall is a better troop than Aquaticus. But because we fight so many of them goblin teams and things like that, I would actually save Aquaticus as my 1 troop. If I could only save 1 mythic out of these 4 here, I would save Aquaticus simply because of that tsunami, because it is so useful against those Queen Bee teams. I know you can stun Queen Bee and things like that as well, but this 4th trait is 3rd trait, 4th trait. That'd be interesting. That 3rd trait is super useful. So I am going to give my Mythic of the Week to Aquaticus solely based on the reason that if all these 4 mythics were here, and I could only save one, I would save Aquaticus simply because of that superb defense against Queen Bee and Gobtruffle teams and things like that, because it is super useful. Like I say, even though technically a Piscea is more dangerous by a mile, Aquaticus has got her own strengths. So yeah, an interesting mythic of the week there for me, but now I'm waffling and wondering if I should have picked Piscea instead, because it's so good. Anyway, it's done now. Aquaticus is sitting there. She's chuffed with herself. Maybe. Anyway, there's the video. If you enjoyed it, bash that like and subscribe button. It really does help. And I'll catch you again next time. Bye for now.